Robert and the Attack of the Giant Tarantula, Chapter 5, Buster. After that, Robert was no longer afraid of Fuzzy. He even grew to like her. It was nice having company in his room when he did his homework or played computer games. Now, Fuzzy's nighttime noises sounded friendly. Tarantulas make good pets, he told Paul at lunch one day. He had just finished reading a book about spiders. Don't they bite? Asked Paul. Only if you scare them, and you won't die or anything. Robert pulled a piece of bologna out of his sandwich and ate it. Hi, Paul. Lester Willis put his tray down and sat next to Robert. Yo, Robert, I found a rabbit in my backyard. Could you keep it? I don't know, Lester. Keeping a rabbit was not in Robert's dog walking plans. He's no trouble. I even made him a cage, and I'll pay you. How come you can't keep him? My mom says 5 kids is enough. I'm trying to change her mind. I have to ask my mom. Cool. For sure, the answer would be no this time, Robert thought. Rabbits were bigger and probably made bigger messes than birds or tarantulas. After school, Robert found his mom in the living room. Mom, Lester wants me to take care of his rabbit. That's nice, Rob. Mrs. Dorfman straightened the magazines on the coffee table. He wants me to keep it here until he can take it to his house. His mother stopped fussing with the magazines. Robert, I know how hard it is to start a new business, she said after a moment. If the rabbit stays in your room, I think I can convince your father it's okay. Really? Really, Robert called Lester. My mom says it's okay. Lester let out a hoot. Robert held the phone away from his ear. I'll be over tonight. My dad can bring me in the truck. Everyone in Robert's family liked the big white rabbit. His name is Buster, Lester said. He looks like a giant Easter bunny, Robert's dad said. Mrs. Dorfman held Buster and talked baby talk to him. Poor guy must have been in a fight, said Charlie. He pointed to Buster's left ear. It looked like that it had been torn. Lester handed Robert a box of rabbit food. He also likes carrots. Okay, said Robert, patting Buster's head. Lester's rabbit was the closest thing Robert had ever had to a dog. Chapter 6, Robert's Zoo. One day when Robert got home from feeding the birds, his mom met him at the door. She looked sad. He knew something was wrong. Mrs. Glass's daughter called, his mom said. Mrs. Glass is not getting better. She's going into a nursing home and they don't allow pets. What will happen to Flo and Billy? Robert asked. Mrs. Glass would like you to keep them. Really? Yes, said his mom. Your father can help you get them from her house tomorrow afternoon. What was wrong with his parents? Suddenly, his room was a zoo, and they didn't seem to mind. The next day, after getting Flo and Billy settled in his room, Robert sank into the sofa in the living room. On TV, a news reporter was inviting a man dressed up as the Easter Bunny. Robert's dad came in and sat down next to him. Well, Tiger, business is booming, isn't it? I guess, said Robert. I think you are showing excellent enterprise. Robert knew that his dad was giving him a compliment, even though he didn't know what enterprise meant. How could he explain that all he wanted was a dog to play with, and instead he ended up with a tarantula, 2 doves, and a rabbit? Where does the Easter Bunny go to fill his baskets? Said a voice from the TV. It was a commercial for Banbury's chocolates. Robert turned to look and saw a big white rabbit sitting next to a basket with a yellow bow on the handle. The basket was filled with chocolate bunnies and pink candy eggs. To Banbury's, of course, the voice continued. Robert studied the rabbit closely. It looked just like Buster. It even had the same torn ear.